Hey, what's going on, everybody? Shane here from Vulgar Display Gaming, and today I'm joined by a special guest, Rhevok from Mordant Rhed. How the hell you doing, brother?
I am alive as a mother.
Hell yeah, that's what we like to hear. Today we're going to be talking about sequels, prequels, and remakes of some of the most iconic horror movies and franchises around. There are so many to choose from, but we're just going to dive into it with our picks going back and forth. But before we start, we wanted to do a quick little shout out because this is how I got to know Rhevok. It's just this metal community keeps growing, and I'm excited to be a part of it and thankful. I've met nothing but cool people, and I want to start off with saying thank you, Rhevok, for making kick-ass tunes. You know, with these EPs and everything, killer shit right here. You have your first full length coming out later this month, I believe.
Yeah, it got completed earlier, the recordings and everything earlier this month, and we sent it off to Goat Throne, and we're hoping to have it out by the end of this month. It was definitely a rush process because we've got these shows coming up. Wanted to make sure we have everything prepared. It's gonna be a CD and cassette version, and hopefully down the road vinyl. I know everybody's always messaging me about vinyl. Like, yeah, we will get to that.
Vinyl is a long process.
It is. But yeah, it should be out by the end of the month. We're happy with it. It is a black metal album, but you know, everybody watches the video stuff. Though we like all kinds of shit. So there's, first wave black metal, just regular heavy metal mixed in, the blasting shit. What you're gonna get, the album is not just all the way through with blast beats. It's not. It's going on a little journey. It's purposely done because I love blast beats, but sometimes when the whole thing,
it kind of just blends
plateaus.
Together. Yeah, because that's what I will say. These two EPs, that's what I liked about it, because I'm not the biggest black metal dude because of that reason, where you have a lot of blast beats, same rhythm, same tone, no change ups or anything. But this has, different riffs are great. Your vocals are killer. I really like your stuff you're putting out. And by the way, the name of the new album coming out?
Eat for Satan.
Hell yeah.
It's to try to think of what could be well, actually, we had a song on one of our old demos called that just as a joke. I thought, you know what, just use this for the full length, because I don't know, for me, every time we do something, it's strategic, whether it's the artwork or whatever. And I envision if I was looking through some records at a store and I saw a cover, some motherfuckers with masks on it says "Eat for Satan," I will pick it up and look at it. Will I buy it? I don't know, but I will definitely look at it. So that's the idea behind that. With the music, it's definitely very serious. A lot of people see the YouTube channel. There's a lot of drunken, crazy shit going on, and they think a lot of crazy shenanigans going on. But the music is definitely not in that mode. Like bands like Gwar, so that's kind of funny. There's no comedy. Well, there is comedy if you have a sense of humor like I do, but it's not like a joke band. So definitely make sure it's not just goofy shit on there, because that's.
Yeah, your lyrics are serious. They're deranged and sadistic, and I love it. But that's what black metal is supposed to be, is jarring, something that catches your attention, brutal, over-the-top shit, and that's what I want out of it, and that's what I got. So thank you.
Absolutely. With the album, hopefully it's done by the end of the month. We're hoping on September 21st, I think it's a Saturday, which it's that Saturday, September 21st, we're going to do a actual live stream, which we do on our channel, but not all the time. We're going to do a live stream and debut a new music video for a song off that album, which we just shot the video recently, and we're gonna get that ready. So, all you motherfuckers want to party, September 21st, probably 7:00 Central Time. But I'll put more information on there. We'll do like we did last time, like we did that Touch the Skeleton album we released. So it'll be another one of those, but we'll be talking more about that.
Hell yeah. And you got some shows coming up. You got a show in October at a black metal festival in Texas and Dallas, right?
Yeah, it's like a little weekend. We're going to be, the guys from New Jersey are coming down. Jersey Devil, Open Grave. We'll be playing on, October 11th in San Antonio We're also playing with Pius Levis, which is a great death metal band, and also El Necron from the Witching Hour channel, El Necron's channel. He has a YouTube channel that's just really good. And we're playing with his band, San Antonio, and then that Saturday, October 12th, we're going to be playing that Disastrous Fest with Thornspawn, Sardonic Witchery, a bunch of great bands. And we'll be talking more about that. It'd be really cool stuff. That's up in close to Fort Worth. We're playing in Houston that Sunday. I guess it's just going to be us, Open Grave, and Jersey Devil, the New Jersey bands, which really good black metal. We're looking forward to that. And then in November 15th and 16th or something, it's a Friday and Saturday. Again, we'll put more information up there. We're playing in New Jersey and New York. I'm not sure of the lineups yet, but I know in New York, in New York, we are playing with Go Jimenez, Barry's band.
Hell yeah!
So we're looking forward to playing with him. I'm a fan of their band, so yeah, we were Regimental Records is putting together the tour, and I was, kind of left it up to them to who bands they picked. But I said, hey, I want to play with Go Jimenez, So I reached out to Barry, and they agreed. So we're looking forward to doing that, party with Barry and Tone Joker and the silent producer and all them.
Hell yeah.
Have a good time.
Yep. And by the way, that Goat Metal Show, please go check out Barry's channel and Go to Menace again. Great shit right there. And speaking of which, let's move on. Anything else you want to shout out real quick?
Barry, if you're watching, I know I had your Go to Menace CD. I've been meaning to do a cover that CD. It's just been so backed up. It's not that I didn't appreciate you sending me it. It's a damn good CD, but I want to do a proper video talking about it, so it's still in the list of shit to do, so I didn't forget about you.
Hell yeah. And while we're going up for cool people that we know in the community, Paul with Paul Kai, Hawaiian Death Metal, his second CD is coming out. I still need to pick that up. I believe it just came out, just dropped. Anyway, there'll be links down below, but Paul's a good dude.
That's good death metal, and really cool how he goes into Hawaiian lore with lyrics and everything. It's cool that it still has evil shit, but it's a different take on it. And I think it's pretty cool. He's got a good thing going on there.
Hell yeah, it's something different. It's great, and it's one-man band. He's doing everything on it. It's awesome. Speaking of more musicians, we got Shredbeard. Trevor, he kicks ass.
Yes, he does.
Check out his channel for some good, tasty riffs all the time, and just a good all-around dude. I finally got to meet him last month. Cool dude. And,
that's cool.
Yeah, he came down here to LA for a weekend, so got to hang out with him for a bit. Super cool dude. And then we got, speaking more musicians, Drucifer, that you actually working on some shit with him, aren't you?
Yeah, we're doing a war metal, black metal project where it's definitely not like Mordant Rhed. It's just heavy, just brutal shit. And he's playing the guitars. I'm doing the drums and the vocals. And the vocals are definitely gonna be a lot deeper compared to the Mordant Rhed shit. It's almost done. You got one more song I got to finish up on the drum tracks on, and I got that sick shit, that gets passed around. Not AIDS, but the other shit. It fucked up my whole rhythm where I was knocking stuff out, and then I had to put that on the back burner because we had that full length. We had to make sure we focus on that shit. And if people that are not in a band, and you don't realize how much stuff. You could throw an album together and do it half-ass.
There's a lot that goes into it. Sequencing.
It's not just the music, the mixing, the recording, making sure it sounds right, the design, layout. Because we like to do everything. We did everything: the recording, the music, the layout, design, the photography, all done in-house. No outsourced nothing. Shit. That's why Goat Throne had it made. I said, okay, here you go. Here's the link. It's all ready. And all he's got to do is send off. He's like, I wish everybody was like that.
Right? It's how you do your artwork, how you do your packaging, how you do the sequencing of tracks. What singles are you going to release? You have to think about all of that shit. There's a lot that goes into. I know enough musicians and bands where I see all the shit they go through, and I'm like, damn. You don't think about it, but it takes months or 2 years to putting out an album. There's people that have been sitting on shit for a while, and you got to just.
That's true. And people don't think about that. And also, just like shooting this music video, I was working on that this morning. We shot it yesterday. I was already working on the editing for 2 hours, and people would think, "Oh, just put a camera up."
No,
Well, it's also about the pacing of the video, the shots. You got to keep it interesting, and it really is all about the pacing. If you don't understand that, it makes for a boring ass video. That's for sure.
I mean, especially nowadays with attention spans being so low, you have to have something going on almost every minute. There needs to be some kind of change up, something like that, because even as we're talking right now, we've been going for a minute, and people are probably like, these boring fucks. You know?
Well, if they think it's boring, they can go
fuck themselves. Yep. Right? But no.
Man, there's some cool people that watch the. I've met a lot of cool people, man. It's, it's funny too, like talking about like you, Drucifer, Shredbeard, whoever. I remember seeing it the first time I saw you is when you collaborated with Eddie, who is another very cool
that's
guy,
why we go get to Eddie. Yep.
All of them, even Eddie and them. I watched videos, saw you on there, I saw Eddie, and it's just funny how you can watch somebody's video and tell, you know what, I don't know them, but I'm sure I would get along with them really well. You can just tell, and when you have that you just talk to somebody, you have that same kind of energy, you can just sense it, versus some people, you meet them, it's like, fuck this motherfucker, But everybody, in this little, as they call it, the community, whatever the fuck you want to call it, a lot of really cool people. And also the people that watch the videos and comment stuff. I have a lot of good conversations with people, and I appreciate it all.
Hell yeah. Again, Eddie from Realms of Metal, he's what got me introduced to all these people and everything by being on his channel, which is a really cool dude. And he also, I'll link it below, he has a great record store that he's just starting up, Realms of Rock. Lots of good shit on there and best prices around. You could buy as many fucking vinyls and albums as you want. $7 flat rate shipping. You can't beat that.
Yeah, that's cool. Also, he's working with Vincent Crowley too, putting all the Acheron stuff on there. And Vincent Crowley, that's really cool. It's another really good channel as well.
Yep, and great artist, Vincent Crowley. Yeah. I was on his show, What's Got Your Goat. Really good shit. Go check that out. That'll link be down below as well. Anybody else we want to shout out? There's a lot of people.
Oh, there is. Like even that thank you list I was making for the CD. I was trying to fit everybody. I was like, fuck, if I put everybody, it would fill the whole booklet up. I had to be very selective. Pretty sure you were in that list too.
I was going to say thank you for that. I didn't want to say, well, I'm on that list too. I'm pretty cool.
Hey, everybody put on there, man. It's
no, I appreciate that.
It's sincere.
No, fuck it, dude. I mean, that means a lot to me because, I'm like, holy shit, if I have some kind of impact, if I can help out any artist in any way by promoting their stuff, if I'm not making music, I want to make sure this spreads to the masses. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
That being said, is there anybody else? Again, I'll just have your list pop up too. Just all those people on that list. Thank you.
There are a lot of them. I can't even think off the top of my head. No. Ninth Circle, No Solution. I can't even remember who the fuck else. But
again, give me your screenshot.
J-Dog Homeboy too.
Oh yeah, there you go. Hell's Headbangers. Fuck.
He's been very early on, helped us out a lot, getting some exposure. So yeah, everything's good.
Yeah, he's a good dude too. But send me your picture and I'll just put that up in case we missed anybody.
Okay, I will.
But to that being said, to get to what we wanted to talk about is we share a common thing with horror movies and metal. But horror movies is what we're going to be talking about today. As you can see, I'm a huge Aliens fan. I have this whole custom.
I as well.
Yeah. Sadly, it's not one of my
I saw that bitch at the theater when it came out.
Okay, thanks for telling us how old you are.
I'm 50.
But
with my Godzilla cup right here.
Fuck yeah, love it. To that being said, Aliens is one of my favorite franchises, but I guess I want to start off by talking about another extraterrestrial movie that I love and is near and dear to my heart is The Thing, and we're going on sequels, prequels, and remakes. These Thing came out in 1982, and then there was a prequel that they made in 2011. I absolutely loved John Carpenter's The Thing. My notes here, I had to look at that. I think he did a fantastic job of it. I believe it was adapted from like a novella, right, in the 50s.
Yes. Yes. Who Goes There?
Yes. I think he did a great job with it. The practical effects were some of the best at the time. The whole story, the pacing of that entire movie was great. The cast was simply phenomenal,
Yes.
and just the suspense and horror of it all. For like, you don't know who's infected and shit like that. It was just so fucking good. But to that being said, when they made the prequel that came out in 2011, I had to watch it again. And I realized why I didn't like it is because all the fucking CGI that was in it. And that shit pissed me off. I don't know, did you watch the prequel?
Yeah, you know the story behind that? They originally shot that shit with mostly all practical effects.
That's right. And then they were like,
and
nope.
Then some fucking dumbass studio exec. You know what? Let's put some animated cartoon bullshit on there. Fucking ruined it.
That shit sucked. Like, it took me out of it. I'm like, if these were practical effects, I think it would have been good. And the only other plot point I didn't like about it was, so in the original thing, when they go to the Norwegian base, it's cool that they kept all of that there, but they were all Norwegian. And in this one, they added like Americans to it, where you had no mention of that in the original, that there were Americans there or anything. And the was it Mary Winstead or Elizabeth Winstead? Yeah. Her character didn't really need to be in that movie. It made no sense to me, because then even at the end, she was like, all right, I'm just getting the tractor and driving off. If she left at the end of the prequel and she was not infected, by the time she went to go to whatever base and give a fucking warning about what the fuck happened, the Americans would have known what the fuck was going on, in the thing proper, They would have known, like, oh yeah, what the fuck is all of this? We shouldn't touch any of this shit. We got a warning about this. That site would have been swarmed by military, like, I don't get it. Like, she should have died at the end of the prequel, right, instead of showing her leave. So that to me was a big plot point, that going into the thing where at the end of the credits they show, the crazy dude, I think it was named Lars. Yeah, he has the gun. He's trying to kill the dog because like, that's the infected dog, and that's how it starts. In the movie, which was great. That was cool that they did that, because I was trying to rewatch the movie and try to figure out, okay, how does this tie together? Are we going to see the Norwegian dudes coming over in the helicopter? How is it? And then I remembered, oh yeah, they did do that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that movie was a big pile of shit. And then the special effects team, I think they were called Amalgamated Dynamics or something like that, the one that did the practical effects for that prequel. They were so pissed off because they didn't show their work on there. They took the effects and went and made their own movie with it.
Oh, really?
There's a movie called Harbinger Down, and I think Lance Henriksen is in it. I watched it. It's okay, but at least it has practical effects. It's kind of the same shit. They're in a snowy outpost and alien shit like that. But yeah, that damn prequel, they just fucked that all up. The one before that with John Carpenter, Kurt Russell, that movie was brilliant. Like the pacing, the soundtrack, the Ennio Morricone soundtrack, so freaking good. I remember even as a kid, that came out in '82. I remember reading Fangoria magazine back then, seeing pictures of it before it came out. I was like, man, this looks fucking crazy. Because there was a thing in 1956 movie that was before that was also based on that novella. It was called The Thing from Another World. That movie is excellent too, but the alien is different. It's more just like a Frankenstein-looking monster compared to a shapeshifter and whatnot. But that movie is really good too. I really like the original Thing, but John Carpenter's is definitely the best of the adaptations. But have you seen that one from '56?
No. I just knew there was the novella. I didn't know there was the other one from '56.
Yeah, and actually, on the original Halloween, John Carpenter's, there's that scene where those kids are being babysat.
Oh, they're watching the movie. That's right.
They're watching The Thing from Another World.
Okay, I didn't put two and together.
It's crazy. I could connect so many things. Like the guy that played as the Thing in the original version, the movie, It's James Arness, who played, I think he was in Gunsmoke or some shit like that. He was also in Them, that giant ant movie from the 50s. There's a lot of things you can connect it to, but those two movies are so good, and that prequel just fucked it all up. Man.
Again, when they went with the CGI, that was shit. And again, the American chick, like the scientist or whatever, that plot point didn't make any sense to me. If those two things would have been corrected, I thought it was okay. Like the first half of it, I was like, okay, this is okay. And then it started getting real CGI, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they ruined something that could have been really cool.
Because I did like when they were talking about, instead of doing the blood test, because at first I was like, come on, they can't be doing the blood test again. That was in, the 82 version. Oh, it can't replicate inorganic material. I'm like, that's cool. I like that, But whatever. So we're in agreement that the prequel fucking sucks. The 2011 version, as well as, I guess I need to go watch The Thing from Another Planet.
Another World. It's just called The Thing. I don't know. Are you a fan of 50s sci-fi movies? Because if you don't like that kind of shit, you may not like that.
I loved rewatching the 58 version of The Blob, which we'll get into. That was great.
Okay.
I really like those kind of cheesy effects, but then fuck, when you look into it, we'll get into it. But
yeah.
We'll definitely watch that version of it, but I think as of now, I think John Carpenter's adaptation is the best. I really enjoyed it. The practical effects set a standard in horror movies going throughout the 80s.
Absolutely.
That shit was just, holy shit. That stuff
and it still
great.
Holds up.
Yes.
The dog scene, that still holds up.
Oh, and to that, because I am a nerd, so I'll put in some nerd shit. The Thing video game that came out in, I believe, 2008. Whatever, I'll correct myself if I'm wrong, but Konami put out the Thing video game, and it was actually taking place directly after the 1982 version of the Thing, where the military comes, because they get hold of it, obviously.
Oh, wow.
So it's a really cool game, and it's like, I'm going to play it on the channel. I've been meaning to get it, so if you tune in, I'll be playing it, but the story, the story is fucking great, because it's like, it makes sense. You're going there as a special forces team to go clean up. You're like, what the fuck's going on here? And they just sent you to go check on the base because it's an American military outpost. You're like, what the fuck happened? You go there, you're like, holy shit, this place is a mess. It has all the iconic scenes in there. You're reading notes, figuring out what happened at the base, and it's a survival horror game, but you have, you start off with a submachine gun and shit because you're a special forces dude. But
that sounds pretty damn good to me.
Yeah, the story was great. If they were to make a sequel to it, it would be that game, because it ends off with basically the military trying to use the fucking creature as a weapon. They're like, we need to capture it. And you're like, no, fuck this. And then you go against it. It's really cool. I'll be playing it for sure. But that's my little.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, my nerd input on it. So, going to your next pick, let's start off with the Blob then.
Yeah, we got the Blob 1958 and 1988. I like both, and they actually had another Blob movie called Beware the Blob, came out in the 70s, which has Larry Hagman from, him from either the show Dallas or I Dream of Jeannie. It's Major Healy. That movie's okay. It's 72, 73. It was called Beware the Blob. But anyway, we're talking about the original and then the other remake. Steve McQueen version is really good, but I have to say, man, that 1988 remake is damn good. It's very graphic.
Oh, yeah.
That's like a straight horror movie right there.
Like, I watched the both of them yesterday to rewatch them, and the 88 version, I was like, holy shit. Like, I love it when horror movies kill kids. Is it just me? Or, like, I loved when they were, in the sewer, and a blob kills the kid. I was like, oh, they're going to kill a kid? I don't know. It's weird, because, like, not a lot of movies did that. Not even today. They don't really kill children or show graphic death scenes of children, but you show the child all melting and everything. I thought that was fucking cool.
It was pretty graphic. I remember back then when it came out, magazines like Fangoria and Gore Zone were having a lot of write-ups about them, so I was excited. And I think it held up well. The practical effects of the blob, and especially that scene where the blob goes straight up and then comes down.
Yeah.
fucking great. Versus, the Steve McQueen version. It looks like they're running and there's a big red trash bag. I like that too.
I thought it was funny because it just moves all slow and like, there it is. It's like, how does that thing kill you?
And something else funny about the original, if you watch closely the scene where everybody's running out of the theater, half of them were laughing. If you look at it, they're like kids laughing. But they shut it. Fuck it, that's fine. I don't want to reshoot
it. I know, right? But and then
it's good though. I do like the original one. I like both of them, but if I had to choose, I do like the remake better. But I do like the original, and also the song. Beware of the blob. It creeps. It crawls.
I love that starts out with that campy song. Like, this is supposed to be a horror movie, but it sounds like some like shit the Beach Boys wrote,
I know.
And that's my only gripe with the 1988 version. It should have opened with that. It would have been cool to pay homage with that.
Yeah. That would have been a crazy juxtaposition of opening with that to a very dark movie.
Yeah. I would have loved it.
Yeah. I like Kevin Dillon's character on there. He's just the
biker dude.
Anti-hero, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's just a good solid movie, and I think it gets overlooked a lot of times when people talk about really classic movies, and I don't know if it would fall in the realm of being classic, but it's pretty fucking good, man.
I like that they made the Blob more dangerous. It was moving faster. Like the one dude that gets taken down in the sink, which was really cool because that makes sense. It could go anywhere and like it fucking takes you through like a little pipe and everything. And then when it eats people, you see some of the people like they're still being dissolved in it,
I know. Brilliant. Out of all the gruesome shit on there, the one part that I don't want to say it freaked me out, but just I envision if I was in that situation where that woman was in the phone booth and that blob was all around. Just imagine how fucking horrible that would feel. Like, you're fucked, man.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? And then it just fucking crushes you. I guess they tried to make that scene like the diner scene when it was engulfing the diner.
Oh, yeah.
50s scene. So I guess they were trying to pay homage to that. It seemed like
they paid it in a much more claustrophobic way.
Yeah. But so I would say the 1988 version lives up to being a good remake.
Yes.
It kept the original. Well, they did add stuff to it because it was a military virus or whatever. But whatever, it was still kind of interesting, It
was cool, but it didn't go way off track and do some stupid shit. It stuck with the same central plot. Like even Kevin Dillon's character was supposed to be like Steve McQueen's character. Steve McQueen was more clean-cut kind of guy. It was a little different, but it still worked, though.
And they kept the same weakness of the monster, which was cool.
Yeah.
So they didn't change that. It didn't like cold, and they froze it. So I thought it was pretty good. So I will say that the 1988 version was a good remake.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah. So my next pick would be Halloween, which is fucking an absolute classic, John Carpenter's 1978 version versus Rob Zombie's 2007 version. I mean, the biggest thing, I love the original Halloween, but the funniest thing is, when he breaks out of the asylum and he steals the car, who the fuck taught him how to drive?
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? They do address that in the movie.
They say, No, go ahead. Sorry.
They say, well, he drove pretty well, it looked like.
But it's like, who the fuck is going to be like, oh, hey, Michael Myers, you killed your whole family. Well, you look old enough. Want to learn how to drive? Who the fuck is taking him out of his padded room, putting him in a car, and teaching him how to drive, And seeing him just...
and especially... Yeah, he's driving around the neighborhood, just creeping around. He's not sitting there hitting brakes and shit.
Like, that motherfucker passed his driving test. Like, he knows what stop signs are, all of that shit, just creeping around. Nobody's going to question, like, who's that creepy dude in the sanitarium fucking car that says on the side driving around,
But, yeah, I mean, some stuff you just overlook it. But yeah, that original Halloween, and for me, that has such a deep impact because when it came out, It was 77, or what was it,
78.
78 when it came? Yeah. So I was alive and I didn't go to the theater and see that, but shortly after that I watched it because my parents wanted to watch it. And I remember being scared to death, like, I don't want to watch this, but then I couldn't stop watching it, and it scared the shit out of me, but I still just kept watching it. And just a good, solid, that is a great example. It's been said over and over of it's really not even that graphic.
Mm-mm.
But it's the
suspense.
Suspense is what it is, and the characters are really good on there, and the Jamie Lee Curtis and what the hell is her name from Rock and Roll High School? I can't remember, another girl. I've at a loss of words. It's a name that I know, and this is
Nancy Keys.
No, not her. The other one.
Let me see. Linda or PJ Souls.
PJ Souls,
yeah,
yes. Yep. What the fuck? I should have known that, but yeah. She was in Rock and Roll High School, Ramone's movie. But yeah, those three characters, and then the other girl too. She was also in The Fog as well.
Yep.
But I thought they had some good characters on there. Donald Pleasance is really good on there. So it's interesting that they originally offered that role to Christopher Lee, and he turned it down, which would have been interesting if he would have done that.
It would have been much more dark and brooding. Christopher Lee has that commanding presence,
He did say that was the worst career choice he ever made in his life, in his career. He said he so wish he would have took that part.
I think he still did pretty well.
Yeah, no, he did. I mean, played many other iconic characters, but yeah, that's a damn good movie. You know what's funny? Why me growing up as a kid during those times, a lot of that stuff I could resonate. It resonates with me, like sitting there watching those movies and those kids looking out the window, and me and my brother were always doing fucked up shit, and every time I watch the original Halloween, there's that scene where the kids look out the window and they see across the street Michael Myers standing there. If you see the silhouette, he's just standing there. It's supposed to be scary, but I've said this on another video before, that if I saw that as a kid, when we looked across the street, I swear to God, my brother, we would have opened the window and said, "Hey, fuck you!" That's exactly what would have happened. There was no question, because we did shit like that all the time.
Get the fuck out of here, motherfucker.
That's why every time I watch that movie, I think about that, because we used to do that. We see people walking down the street and just yell, "Hey, you fucking bitch," and hide in the house.
But yeah, again, it's not that graphic, but to those kind of comical, like it's supposed to be terrifying, so I get what you're saying. He's just kind of lurking in the corner, but to your point, you'd be like, "What the fuck you doing over there, dude?"
Yeah. But it is a scary movie. It has a good, perfect tone to it. And then the soundtrack is iconic. Cool. I mean, this stuff we're talking about here is pretty known. Everybody already knows that.
Yeah.
But the Rob Zombie one, I liked it. I thought it was okay. But
I didn't mind the first one. The second one.
Yeah, the second one was funny. When I first saw the second one, I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty good." I remember my brother was like, "That's fucking garbage." And then I rewatched it again. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty fucking bad."
Like where he's like hallucinating with supposedly his mom, and then like him talking. That was pretty
weird shit.
It was weird. The first one, I thought he did a pretty faithful adaptation, but with any Rob Zombie movie, I think this was his second movie he did, right? He did Devil's Rejects, then he did this.
I think it was his third. He did House of a Thousand Corpses.
House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects.
Then this.
And then this. Because Rob Zombie has a very distinctive style, and he likes really white trash shit. Yeah. So that's this Halloween was a little bit more white trash than you'd expect.
Oh, yeah. I love some people tell me, well, they added too much stuff that didn't need to be added. I like the first part. William Forsythe on there being a fucking piece of shit stepdad.
Yeah. Like I thought that added to it. Again, I thought the kill scenes were a lot more graphic and they were great. I thought the adaptation was pretty faithful to the original. You know,
Yeah, it's just something like that. It doesn't matter how good he did it. You just can't replicate.
you can't
Yeah.
replicate that. You
That
know.
original one is so good. But yeah, I mean, it's to me that Halloween, the first one Rob Zombie did, it's kind of a guilty pleasure,
Mhm.
you know. And also, what I like about Rob Zombie, he always casts
Really
a lot
good.
of people from
Yeah.
old movies. If you look at some of those, you'll see random people, Bill Moseley in there, or Ken Foray, or Danny Trejo's in there. Margot Kidder from Superman movies is in there, and Meg Foster. There's like a bunch of uh, classic horror actors. Adrienne Barbeau. Actually, I think Adrienne Barbeau had a scene in this one, but it got cut out or something like that. Remember, she was on The Fog and Escape
Fog's
from New
another
York and
great
all that
movie.
shit.
Yeah, that shit's all good too.
We could have talked about that too. How that shitty ass Fog remake.
I know. I know. But going to Halloween remakes, we're just comparing the two. But then they rebooted it again in 2018.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't like that one. I mean, they brought back Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't know. That one didn't do it for me, really. Did you watch the newest iteration of them?
Yeah.
I think they've done 2 of them or 3 of them
They
now.
three.
3 of them.
Three. This little trilogy.
They're like forgettable to me.
I thought it was okay. It delivered what I expected. I mean, it's not going to be as good as the original, but I mean, a lot of people say it's shit. I thought it was all right. Is it something I wouldn't go? I got to go buy the DVD and the Blu-ray and special. I don't fucking need it or nothing like that.
Yeah.
But it kept me entertained, and I wasn't watching it thinking, man, this fucking sucks. You know?
Yeah,
you
already go into it, and you're like, I guess, because they made, Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode, like that paranoid old bitch where she's just like fucking, gun to, like, I get it. That makes sense, because if you dealt with that shit, you're going to be fucking, kind of mental,
Right.
So it was kind of, I guess that was interesting.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it was especially compared to modern movies that go to the theater.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's way better than most of the shit you'll see at the theater, because Hollywood movies that go to the theater are fucking garbage these days.
Because I have a bunch of notes here. It is interesting, though. That movie had a budget of $10 million, the 2018 reboot, and it made $259 million. So it was a success for horror movie standards.
It was all right. I mean, but going back to the Rob Zombie one, another thing what I like about it? Like, I don't like all of his movies. Like, I like Lords of Salem. I like that movie.
I like that.
Slow.
That was good.
Yeah, slow, dark. But what I like about his movies is everything. There's always little hidden Easter eggs. There's always like something that has to do with punk rock or heavy metal in the background. Somebody's got a poster on the wall. I love seeing that kind of shit in there. As far as White Zombie, I really wasn't a fan of his music. I mean, it's okay, but it's not. Actually, I saw White Zombie with Anthrax in '92.
Damn.
But I'm still not a big fan of his music. But him as a person, I find him pretty interesting. He likes a lot of good shit. He's good taste in horror, and some of his movies are good, and some are not so good. He made that movie called, I think it was 31.
That was, what the fuck was that? I did not like that one. He had the little, the Spanish-speaking Nazi dude?
Yeah. It was, and you see, like, House of a Thousand Corpses, the first one.
I like that.
It's off the wall, crazy shit, but it worked. And I like that movie a lot. I watch it often.
Yeah.
But it even had Devil's Rejects, which was great. And then the third one, Three from Hell, I thought that fucking sucked ass.
It was weird because House of a Thousand Corpses was like off the wall, kind of weird and wonky, especially with Dr. Satan and everything in it.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it. But then going to Devil's Rejects, where it's like, okay, he made it really grounded. I liked it as a movie, but it's weird if House of a Thousand Corpses is supposed to be like, that's the first movie, because Devil's Rejects, it kind of stands alone by itself, where it's like it's like more serious, it's darker, where the first one he wanted to do kind of like his own style, like a B horror movie, so it was kind of weird. And then the third one was just kind of like, I don't know, it was whatever.
I'm not really sure what he was thinking about that, because I was genuinely interested to watch it, and as I was watching it, I was like, even 20 minutes into it, I'm like, man, it's not very good.
It was kind of boring. you know? And it was just kind of too predictable. It's like, oh, well, they broke out of prison. Okay, now they're holding people hostage. And it's just, whatever.
I don't know. It's funny, when House of a Thousand Corpses first came out, I went to one of those horror conventions back then, and almost the entire cast was there. I got all their autographs and all their shit. Sid Haig and Bill Moseley. Tom Savini was there, too.
Oh, shit.
It was pretty cool. I got videos of it somewhere, but it was pretty cool. Actually, that horror, it was a lot of people were there from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of shit like that. But yeah, as far as the sequel, it's okay, but nothing beats the original. Mm-hmm. I put the Rob Zombie Halloween into the guilty pleasure watch.
Yeah, like,
you know,
I won't say it's, amazing in it, but I won't say it's terrible. Like, I enjoyed watching the first one, but that original one set a standard for what we know as slasher films. I think that was one of the first ones. Well, Psycho, you could track back to being the original, or one of them.
Yeah, we actually, later on, we will touch upon that. Let's talk about earlier slashers before Halloween.
Yeah.
But one last thing about Rob Zombie's Halloween, it's public, everybody knows it, but he has complained about studio intruding and fucking shit up, and so who knows what his original vision was compared to that crap that they did.
Yeah. But whatever, so we'll say, I guess I can say that, too. It's a guilty pleasure, because it wasn't bad, it wasn't great, but it was still pretty good. And then
I like it.
The original, still the things that always just got me, if you really think about it, is how the fuck is he driving? How is nobody just... I get it's Halloween, so everybody's like, oh, this dude just walking around without a mask on? Like, I don't know. But great movie. So what is some of your next picks you got going on?
Oh, I had Invasion of the Body Snatchers 1956 and 1978, which both of those I like a lot, but I saw the 78 version first, and I remember watching it when it was pretty new. I didn't see it at the theater, but I did see it when it was new. Donald Sutherland, who the fuck else was on there? Art Hindle, Veronica Cartwright is on there, who was on Alien, the original Alien. Leonard Nimoy, Mr. Spock, which I really liked Leonard Nimoy's character on there. He was a self-help author, and he was kind of an asshole on there, and he was my favorite character of the movie. He was only on there a short time, but pretty fucking good. Also, Jeff Goldblum's on there too, The Fly.
Oh yeah.
Cool stuff. The original one, though, from the 50s has that 50s B movie, so to speak, with Kevin McCarthy, the original lead. It's good. I like both of them. And also on the 1978 version, Kevin McCarthy does have a cameo on there. Remember at the beginning where they're in the car and he runs up to the window, they're coming! They're coming!
Yep.
Yeah, that's
iconic scene.
Yeah. Pretty good stuff. I mean, this is one of the ones, though, I have to say, I think the remake is maybe a little better than the original one.
The looking back into the 1950s one, that's when you had that Cold War era communism fear. So that movie kind of was, I guess, the whole theme of it was like, oh, communists and shit like that.
Right,
they're coming to take over, and I guess that's what they were playing off of when I'm like reading shit about it. They're like, oh, look, they're fucking the pod people are supposed to be communists taking over regular people.
Yeah, it's like a metaphor for it. But, I mean, it's a lot of 50s stuff is like that. They had Cold War and
a lot of
nuclear warhead crisis and Cuba and all that shit. It was a lot of, I'm sure, a scary time for a lot of people back then. But, I mean, I do like the original one a lot, but honestly, I do watch the 78 version a lot better. For me, the only thing that I wish they would change his fucking Donald Sutherland's fucking shitty ass 70s afro. It's like, damn, it looked like shit, man.
There was also two bleak, I guess, things, because the 1956 version had a more positive outlook, like they were able to fight back on them, and then the 78 is like, you're fucked.
Yeah, that is a good point. That's what I mean. it makes it unsettling, but I like that just impending doom. Like, man, no matter what they did, it feels like they're fucked no matter what, man. It just kept going. And in the ending, how it ends, Veronica Cartwright comes out. She thinks everything's okay. She sees Donald Sutherland, and he goes,
yeah. Whereas opposed to the original kind of ended off on like, they fought him back. We did it, you know?
right.
But,
yeah, sometimes I like a downbeat ending like that. It's kind of cool. And you know what also was interesting, which I liked about it, is Donald Sutherland's character was kind of a fucking piece of shit. I mean, he was trying to get that woman he worked with to cheat on him. He was always trying to hit on her all the time. Like when he had her over at his apartment and she's like, yeah, my husband won't be home till later. Oh, well, you want some more wine? Like, you fucking fucker. So yeah, it was good. It was tainted, realistic characters, and there was a fair amount of nudity in there, which I was okay with. And
yeah, I guess they made it as reading some shit about it too, like an everyman, just like some normal dude, like just like, hey, he wasn't the normal hero. He was kind of like an anti-hero, kind of like a piece of shit. Where you're like, damn, this dude sucks, and then he just goes about doing all this shit. And they're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
Yes, a little.
Yeah, it's a good movie, man. It again. When I watched them, I watched the sequel or the '78 version more. They've made other ones since then, but I haven't even watched those. I don't care to. But the '78 version is my go-to on that.
And obviously, you have an extra 20 years of special effects being added to it, where the scenes of them replicating the bodies look a lot better and everything.
Right.
So,
but I do like 50s horror though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love it too, because that's the start of it, and it's as cheesy as it is. Back then, people were scared shitless of that stuff.
Yeah. They were. It's crazy. You look at it now. You look at Frankenstein. Think that's scary, but some people, that was scary shit back then.
But again, it's always great paying homage to seeing where these horror movies came from, and I think. To your point, I do like the '78 version better than the '56 version for those aspects of the downbeat ending, where it's like, you're fucked, Then
the dog with a guy's face on
it. Killer stuff. I will say the '78 version lives up to being a true to the original, at least to those aspects. It hit everything on the right cylinders, and I think it was pretty good. I will go with that. Let's see. So we're cool with that one. Everybody go watch the 1978 version. Watch these movies to compare, too. I'll have the list of what we talked about. But these are great movies to watch and compare. So for me, the next movie is a pretty grounded and jarring movie. It was The Last House on the Left, which is 1972. Wes Craven did this as well. And comparing it to the 2009 version, the 72 version was really graphic. So if nobody knows Last House on the Left, it's about, a family, they're going to their vacation home or whatever, and then like these dudes break in and fucking there's a pretty graphic rape scene in the forest.
Yeah.
That was extended and like really unsettling in the 72 version. And I feel like, holy shit, if I was that actress, I would have, like, I get it, like, you're acting, but, like, damn, like, how many takes do we have to do of that? That would kind of fuck with you unless you're joking afterwards,
Yeah. You definitely feel like you want to take a shower after you watch that movie.
Dude, yes. That movie is gritty, it is dirty, but it shows, like, the fight. Like, one thing I loved about it, it was just, like, it was almost like it became, like, a revenge story, too, And you're, like, rooting for it. You're like, fuck yeah, fuck those assholes up, know? That's what I really liked about it, because, in a sense, it is scary because this shit could happen to you. It was like, oh, fuck, like, I'm going to my fucking vacation house in the woods. I better make sure nobody follows me back, But,
oh, shit.
Comparing...
They definitely, they assembled definitely a scumbag lineup, and plus the leader, David Hess, who he's plays that really well, and he's played other movies like that. There's another movie called House at the Edge of the Park. He's in there. It's kind of another home invasion movie where he's a complete scumbag and rape, torture shit going on. so he has a background of that. He was also in Swamp Thing too, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, that movie, I saw that as a kid. I saw that when I was way too young. That's for damn sure. I cannot believe I saw that. I had to have been 8 when I saw that.
Oh.
And that's probably why I'm all fucked up now.
Like, I'm even watching clips of it too, and I'm just, yeah, like, that is not a movie for 8 years old. 8-year-olds.
Not at all. But it's good. It captures the essence of pure filth and just pieces of human garbage.
Yeah, and it just basically, that was around the same time, if I remember correctly, around like the Charles Manson shit, you know. So it was
it was a little bit after that.
Yeah, a little bit after that. So it was, I guess, going on that kind of thing, you know, this raunchy fucking, you know, kind of sleazy movie, and that shit is just fucking grimy, dirty, and brutal. That original version. Now compared to
when I think about that movie, the scene that always comes into my mind, I think about that Last House on the Left, the original, is this. I remember watching that as I was like, what in the fuck, man? Oh, fucking chewed on that fucking Oscar Mayer.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, man. But I will say, to the 2009 remake, now you got that scene playing in my head, damn it. That 2009 version, they dumbed down that rape scene. They cut it down a little bit short and made it a little bit more tame, which is understandable. Back in the 70s, there was, what was that other movie? The one with the expedition where they're going and they find the Aztec tribes. You know what I'm talking about?
Cannibal Holocaust?
I think that's what it is. Like,
yeah.
Damn, movies back in the day, like, I was like, there was like fucking no fucking like, hey, no limits. They were going off on this shit.
Yeah, you look at that, especially those movies you're talking about, Cannibal Holocaust. There was another one called Cannibal Ferox.
Yeah.
Cut the guy's dick off and eat it.
I was like, damn, that's just some brutal stuff. And like, things I would compare it to now is like, you know, was it Terrorizer? Like shit like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like kind of like just murder porn. But like back in the 70s, like the gratuitous nudity with violence was just right there in your face. And you're like, holy shit. But yes, Last House on the Left, I feel like the 2009 version was good. Definitely dumbed down a little bit, I think, with the sleaziness and everything. I think they made the family a little bit more wholesome, you know?
You know, that sequel, I watched it, and I don't remember anything about it. It was so unmemorable to me. Like, it just, there was, I can remember it vaguely, but I remember being sorry as shit, and it just didn't do nothing for me. And honestly, I don't ever want to watch it again because it was just so unmemorable to me.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up too, because you can't. Okay, so when I'm looking at the director, Dennis Lilidis or whatever, he only did one other movie prior to that, and it was called Hardcore, and then he did Last House on the Left in 2009. But I don't know. The 2009 version just seemed really dumbed down. It didn't hit the same, how do you say, shock factor as the original, which the original was just brutal, and especially with that, again, that rape scene is what defined that movie, and it gets stuck in my head because it's so fucking brutal and jarring.
Well, it was that, and then the scene after where she just walks and goes in the water.
Yep.
They shoot her, and then she just kind of sinks in the water. It's just the way it was drawn out. It was artistically done to bring out that
emotional, fucking, like, you feel for her. You're like, holy fuck, you know.
Yeah, and then when the parents start fucking those people up, I'm just like, fuck them up even more. And there was just a lot of really demented shit, like the part when they're staying at the parents' house and David Hess is having a nightmare. He thinks that seeing the nightmare of the dad with a chisel putting on his teeth with a hammer. It's great stuff, man. It's just
So yeah,
You know what? Actually, it makes me want to go because I usually watch that pretty often, but it has been a while since I watched it. I think it's time to go put that back in. And also, it's Sean Cunningham produced that, who also the original one also was behind Friday the 13th.
yeah. I mean,
it's cool shit, man.
This was before Friday the 13th too.
Yep.
Yep. So you could see where he kind of, he's like, hey, I like this horror shit. I want to keep this going.
Yeah, I know. And actually, we were talking about Halloween, about precursor to slasher movies. You got Psycho, and we were going to talk about something later that's earlier than Halloween. But this is actually before the other movie we're going to talk about later, 72. That's still pretty damn early. I mean, it's not really a slasher, but it is a just torture, killer, fucked up movie.
Again, like The Last House on the Left, the reason I like this movie too is, again, you felt for the parents and you connected with them. It made this that much more real, especially if you were a parent and you watch this, then you're like, oh my god. But I don't have kids, so I don't have to worry about that shit. But but you feel like you're like, fuck them up, like you said. I want to see them die in the most brutal way. It's just that struggle and that real feeling of this can happen to me.
Right.
That's what made that movie so terrifying.
It's good. Like I said, I need to go back, and I have the DVD. It's just been a while since I watched it, but yeah, it's about that time. There's some movies where I watch every year, and it's been a few years since I didn't. One movie I do watch once every year is Return of the Living Dead. Every year.
Fucking love it.
That's for another video.
I know. I fucking love doing this horror shit, these deep dives. This one's a little bit long-winded because we did do a lot of picks, but sequels, prequels, and remakes, it's pretty good, to anybody out there. Again, real quick, if you're fucking watching this, put down in your comments your favorite remakes, prequels, or sequels, that kind of shit.
Yeah, no shit. That too, I always like to read people's comments because they always have interesting takes on certain things as well. And it's funny that you contacted me to do this because people have been emailing me, hey man, it's Halloween's coming up, you're going to be doing more horror shit. I'm like, well, as a matter of fact.
Hey man, I hope we could do more of this shit. I would fucking love it.
Yeah. Down with it. I love horror shit,
dude. Yeah, that's all I fucking pretty much watch.
You know who else is really into horror? I know you talked to Barry, but his buddy Tone Joker?
Mm-mm.
He's on the channel sometimes, but he has a buddy, man, that guy, he knows his shit too.
Hell yeah. Definitely would love to fucking, maybe we do a video with him, do a whole round table group.
Yeah, actually that'd be cool to get him on there because he knows his shit.
Fuck yeah. So let's go on to your next picks.
Okay, so moving on, talking about the I Am Legend novel by Richard Matheson, it's been adapted numerous times, and hell, that's pretty much what started the zombie genre. George Romero's Night of the Living Dead got that. But the original one, Last Man on Earth, with Vincent Price, which I already love Vincent Price. Usually anything he's in. But the Last Man on Earth is a really good movie. I mean, it's very faithful to the book, and it's graphic. But one thing what I like about these movies is it's kind of ambiguous as far as who really is the villain, because you got these vampires, they're just trying to stay alive. They're infected, but then they got this guy that goes out during the day killing all of them, and they look at him as this evil man. So it's kind of interesting dynamic how they have that. But go on.
Oh no! I'm sorry, I do that a lot.
No, it's all right. Yeah, it's we're going to talk about 3 movies about that: the Last Man on Earth, and then the Omega Man, and then the I Am Legend, the modernization with Will Smith. That I'll go right off the bat. That is a shitty movie. I saw it at the theater when it came out, and I had mild expectations, but I still figured it wouldn't be that good. It's crap. That CGI looks so fucking fake on there. I would rather see a bunch of guys with fucking rubber masks running through there than that shit.
To that point of that movie, the 2007 one, I read the graphic novel So I never read the book, but I read the graphic novel. I forget who did it, but the graphic novel was done really well. I liked it. It was more the traditional vampire sense. It kept it true to the book, all of that. When they didn't show the monsters, because I went and saw I Am Legend in the theater too, when they didn't show what the vampires were going to look like, I was already kind of like, well, what the fuck are they going to look like, you know? Because they kind of kept that hidden, like, ooh, you know? And then when they made them like these generic, bald, gray things, I was like, what is this? And they're like sitting in the room, you know, doing that weird breathing shit. I'm like, what is this? Like, why not just make it like almost like they could have done it where it's like a 28 days later kind of thing where they're like vampires. They just need to keep feeding on blood, you know, something like that. Like maybe if you're gonna make it a virus, and they made it weird where it's like, oh, they made a cure for cancer and it's turning people into this shit or something. They could have done a better job of it and made it better, and it would have been better if it was R. Fuck that PG-13 shit.
Yeah, no.
You know,
if I see a horror movie that's PG-13, I'm usually not going to watch it.
Yeah,
it's just
I don't know, but
yeah, that movie. You know, the only scene that's kind of cool is the part where he has to go in that building. It's dark. And that's a pretty tense scene, which is pretty cool. I thought it was well done. But other than that, I just thought it was fucking shit, man.
The whole story and everything. And then again, so in Last Man on Earth, where he's trying to, like, he finds the one chick where they just put like a bunch of sunblock on her or some shit so she can be outside, but she was like one of the vampires. She's like, we're just trying to live. We got a new society. You're killing all of us.
Right.
You know, and then to that point in the 2007 version where he's like, the fucking leader's trying to get his daughter back or some shit. I don't fucking know. And then he just kills them all anyway.
Yeah. It's just typical Hollywood bullshit. But yeah, the original one is an Italian-made movie. It was made in Italy.
Oh, the score behind it is great.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good movie, and it's pretty cool. And then the other adaptation, the Omega Man with Charlton Heston, definitely more 70s campy kind of shit, but I do like that a lot. And ironically, again, like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I saw Omega Man first as a kid. Then I saw Vincent Price's version. I like Omega Man. It's cool. It's one of those movies I watch pretty often, and it's funny. The vampires are very cult-like with the hooded robes. They're also very, very 70s, you know, guys, hippie looking guy, big afro and shit. But I like it though. It's good, and I also like Charlton Heston's character is a lot different than Vincent Price's. Charlton Heston is a little more cool. He's got his nice setup in his house. He sits out there and just shoots out the window and kills those zombies and shit. It's pretty funny.
So I haven't watched Omega Man. I need to watch that. But to the Vincent Price version, it's a lot more, I guess, desperate. You see a man who's kind of like, he finds his life mission because he was a scientist. I don't know. Is he still a scientist in Omega Man?
Yeah, he's a military guy.
Okay. Yeah. So I know Vincent Price is like, he couldn't find a cure, so now he's like, well, I just gotta fucking keep killing them, you know?
Right.
But to your point when you were saying, because I even had that feeling watching it, and I didn't put two and two together until you said it. I was like, dude, these are more like zombies than they are vampires, you know?
Yeah.
And then, with them just banging the pieces of wood on the house every night.
Every time we watch that, I watch it with somebody, the part where Vincent Price is laying on the couch trying to sleep and they're beating. I said, man, that looks real relaxing right there.
Right? You know? But it's just...
you know, also, before I forget something else too, I did just totally popped in my head. I forgot about this. One interesting tidbit about the Will Smith version, you know, the part when he always sleeps in the bathtub. You hear, those sounds were made by Robert Patton from Faith No More.
Oh shit!
He did that shit. Something interesting.
That's
probably
funny.
One of the only
interesting
cool
facts
things about
that movie.
Yeah.
Like again.
But,
yeah.
So Omega Man, I think as a movie, I think Last Man on Earth is a better movie, but Omega Man is cool. It's got that 70s style. And it's also how Charlton Heston just get a Mustang, drive it around, and just crash it. He doesn't give a shit. And then they show a part where he goes in the theater and he's watching Woodstock in there, and it's just, out of boredom, just going around and shooting people. But it's cool. It's a cool movie.
No, to me, only watching Last Man on Earth and I Am Legend, I will say Last Man on Earth is faithful to the graphic novel I read. Never read the book. I enjoyed it. Again, that's where George A. Romero, now putting it together, he drew inspiration from that so much.
Yeah.
The zombies move that way because I'm pretty sure in his head it was like, these aren't vampires. They're like zombies, Because that's one thing I didn't get from that movie is that they were vampires. I just didn't like seeing remember when he fell asleep at the church thing? Was it his wife's coffin or something, right?
Yeah.
And then he fell asleep. He was, oh my God, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And he's just running around with a mirror.
Yeah, think about that, and also think about that one zombie that was his friend before.
Yeah, and he's just
Morgan. We're
gonna get you.
It's good shit though. I would suggest you watch the Omega Man.
I'm gonna watch that. Yeah.
The music is the score is very 70s. I mean, it's. I think the Vincent Price one is better, but I still like the Omega Man. I got that DVD. I still watch that pretty often too.
Hell yeah. So, without further ado, we could say the Omega Man and Last Man on Earth are great. 2007 version I Am Legend fucking sucks. And I think they're making a second one.
I had heard over the years they were trying to make a sequel to it with Will Smith in there as well. I have no interest in watching that.
I will not
watch even
that.
If it was free, hey, here's a free ticket to the theater, I wouldn't even waste my time.
No. So, I guess we could say that did not live up to the original. No. Moving on for me, one of my next picks is Dawn of the Dead. Actually, because I changed my pick. When did the original come out? 78, right? 76.
78, I think. I'm pretty sure I'm thinking 78.
I didn't have it pulled up.
Which great
78,
movie.
Yes, came out in 78. And yes, I thought it was really good. I liked it a lot, This one was actually because this was his second movie, right?
Yeah.
So this one was the first one in color he did. I remember.
He also did a movie called Martin, which is a vampire movie. I think that came out after Dawn of the Dead, which is also a really good movie to check out. It's called Martin.
Martin. Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Very atmospheric, dark movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what's funny about Dawn of the Dead? I first saw that. We actually rented it, and this was probably 1984 or something. We rented it, and I remember I always see it. Look at the box at the rental place. It had pictures of the zombies on the back, and they just looked like people with blue faces just going like this. I thought, man, this looks like cheap shit.
Yep.
So I didn't want to rent it. But then a friend of mine at school, no, you need to see it. And I rented it. I was like, okay, yeah. And plus, the best part of it, at the end, the fucking biker gang going crazy, tearing the place up.
And the fucking
You tell me there's a motorcycle gang on there, yeah, I'm going to watch it.
Hell yeah. No, I will say the 1978 version is great, classic. I did like how they showed a little bit of the chaos in the beginning, because you had the SWAT team officers, and then they go into the news station, and then that's how they escape and go to the mall and everything. But it showed the chaos surrounding when they're in the apartment building, breaking down the doors, because they don't know what the fuck's going on. They're like, what the fuck is all this shit, Yeah,
I think the direction in that definitely did a really good job of painting a picture of just doom and chaos. I think if some shit like this really happened, that's what it would look like. People were just freaking out, not knowing what the hell to do. And it's just this movie, it's a longer movie. They have different versions, the director's cut that are longer and whatever, but it's just a really good storytelling, and it's a longer movie, but I feel like I'm entertained through the whole time, and even they show the part when they escape from the helicopter and they're flying around, they look down there. Then it changes. They play that "Like a Man," that country song that shows them hillbillies shooting zombies or drinking coffee. They're out just having a good old time. Then then the music goes, it goes back to the Goblin score, who did the soundtrack, and then it goes right back to being Doom, and just so good. And all the actors on there work really well. You know, I think the cast is really good, but my favorite is the Tom Savini and the fucking motorcycle gang at the end. That's just, I mean, so good. You got zombies and bikers and people shooting, and it's just great movie, man.
There's a lot more chaos in the original version compared to the 2004. And did Zack Snyder do this? Because, sorry, again, I didn't pull this up. I believe Zack Snyder did it. Yep, Zack Snyder did it. And I get what he was trying to do, because how do you remake Dawn of the Dead? A classic zombie movie. You don't.
Yeah.
I will say my gripes with the Dawn of the Dead remake is I did like where he's like, you know what, I'm going to make the zombies run. I was like, that's cool. But to me, if you're going to make them run, it would have been cool if it's like freshly animated, they can run. But because, you know, like rigor mortis, they should be stiffening up and getting slower over time. So it'd be cool juxtaposition with like slow zombies and fast zombies. Like, oh shit, you just got bit. That's more of a threat. Oh shit, these slow ones, whatever, you know. That would have been cool. And then the fucking zombie baby. Like, what the fuck was that? You know?
Yeah. I don't know. You know, that movie, I saw that at the theater, and initially I was like, you know what? This is not too bad, but I don't know. It doesn't hold up. Then the other ones, Land of the Dead and all other shit, I'm just like...
Well, George A. Romero made Land of the Dead. That one was okay. It was more like an action movie than it was a horror movie.
Kind of like a post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, and it was weird when they made the one zombie kind of smart. He's like, you know, and it's like they're retaining their memories of past lives, mowing the lawn and shit. I was just like, all right, now you're kind of reaching for that.
Yeah, a lot of that shit, like Land of the Dead, it's a pretty good movie, but it just doesn't, not the same sense. Or even like Day of the Dead too.
Day of the Dead was
85.
Great. I like
that. Is a fucking dark movie. Yeah.
That had that had the sense of doom and gloom that you wanted, where they're stranded in the military base, and there's that tension between the scientists. He's like, we need to learn how to control them, and the fucking the sergeant's like, fuck you, you know, like we need to kill them all.
A guy looks like Danzig.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's interesting that it's the characters are a lot of just unlikable people. Like I liked the movie, but I didn't give a shit if anybody died on there, because I didn't really like any of them. Yeah, and then that fucking pussy ass guy that let all those zombies in there, they should have shot him in the head early on.
Oh, in the 2004 version, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still talking about Day of the Dead.
Oh, Day of the Dead. Yes, because I was like, wait. Oh, yeah, that dude who fucking let everybody in. Yeah, fuck that guy.
I'm getting off track. Okay, let's go back to Dawn of the Dead.
No. Day of the Dead, now I'm thinking, when they were fucking doing the whole fucking, when they have the cavern and they're bringing them all in and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit was fucking funny. But back to Dawn of the Dead. There was another pussy-ass dude that fucking, and the new one, or they fucking... Okay, I get it. Go save the gun dude, you know, but that one dumb bitch who was like, I need to go save my dog, who fucked them all over. I would have been like, bitch, you're dead. Like, we ain't going now.
When that happened, I was like, what the fuck, man?
That shit was so stupid to me, because I get it. They needed some, because, like, those people could have stayed in the mall for a very, very long time, you know?
Yeah.
They were just going to go save the one dude. That's all they needed to do. But I don't know. That bitch needed to go get her fucking dog. I'd be like, the dog's dead. Who gives a fuck about it? They should have just
shot her in the head right from the roof.
Yeah. And that dude, here's what I did get too, because, like, I don't know. One thing I hate about horror movies is I start thinking, if I was that situation, if I was that gun dude, you don't think that motherfucker had, like, years and years of MREs in his store?
Right.
Like, come on. If you're owning a gun store, you're probably one of the most paranoid motherfuckers out there, and you probably have a stockpile of food. And to that point, they put a vest on the dog. I would have told the people across, like, hey, put a carabiner on the dog, make sure he's supported, and let me get a fucking rope up and I'll pull him up, you know? bam, problem fucking solved. You
no
know?
shit. No, don't open the door and let him.
Don't open the fucking door or cause a distraction where they all run away and then get the... I don't know, man. There's just so many flaws with that movie. But then, when the one dude's pregnant girlfriend got infected and she gives birth to the zombie baby, it was so fucking stupid. I was like, okay. This movie kind of went off the deep end there. And to that point, Zack Snyder directed that. Did you ever watch his movie Army of the Dead? It was a Netflix one he did where it's like the zombies take over Vegas and shit.
No, I've never seen that.
You don't need to.
I figured. I just think of Zack Snyder and think about fucking Justice League or shit like that.
That was crap. I mean, yeah, whatever. That's a whole nother... Superhero movies are a whole fucking nother fucking monster.
Yeah.
But Zack Snyder did Army of the Dead and he doubled down on the fucking zombie baby thing by having another zombie baby. Where two zombies fucking had a baby. It was like, dude, it didn't work in 2004. It ain't gonna work now. Why even fucking do that shit?
Yeah, they try to make that. As far as I'm concerned, like zombie movies are holed up in a building where creatures are trying to get in. Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Last Man on Earth, Return of the Living Dead, and also demons. You see demons. It's not technically they're not zombies, but it's the same kind of shit.
The old Italian fucking film.
Fucking great.
And then what was the sequel to that, real quick sidetrack? The one of the church. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they had a sequel to Demons. Well, yeah, they had
that one where it's not really a sequel, but it's the demons at the church. They called it, but the actual second one, they're in that apartment building. And that one's good. Because I know I have a buddy who has all of those movies, so I know I need to watch them. But I know he was telling me about the one where there's a church and the big Bayonet dude's fucking the chicken.
Yeah. I think it's just called The Church, I think.
Oh, yeah. I think that sounds familiar.
They were trying to make that was a sequel to Demons, but it really wasn't.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like a standalone.
It's a good movie, though.
Yeah. So... Thoughts on Dawn of the Dead? I think the original was way better than the
remake.
Yeah, the remake was pretty shitty. I did like the gore and everything in it, but the whole plot and some things just fucking lost me.
Yeah, that sequel, it's something that, like I said, I initially liked it, but I've kind of lost interest in it. I will watch it again. I mean, it's okay, but...
And again, it didn't really show the chaos. It showed the one scene outside where everybody in the neighborhood's going crazy. But in Dawn of the Dead, the original, it shows them like cops trying to handle shit going into an apartment building. They don't know what the fuck's going on. And even if
you got the real sense of chaos, it was almost like a documentary at the beginning.
Oh yeah, and you get that sense of dread from it. Because they didn't know what the hell was going on. And you kind of look past the blue faces and everything. Yeah. To now.
That's a thing right there where, okay, the blue faces look kind of funny, but the movie and the story are so good. Well, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm.
And, zombie effects only have gotten better. But without those kind of movies, we could say there would be no zombie movies today. Yeah. So I will say that, and we agree that was a shit remake. So moving on to your next movies are Black Christmas.
Yes, Black Christmas. It's been remade, 3 versions of it. But 1974, that's kind of a precursor to slasher movies. I mean, it's came out before Halloween. Like we said, Psycho was before it, which is also a phenomenal movie, but this was a really good movie. Also had a really good cast. Also had Margot Kidder, who people know her from Superman, Cara Delevingne, who's on Stanley Kubrick's Space Odyssey 2001, which is one of my all-time favorite movies of all time, but that's something different. And also John Saxon, who I absolutely love. Everything from Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee to all his other crazy 70s and 80s absurd movies, but he plays a really good... he
was in Nightmare on Elm Street as well.
Yes, that too, yeah. Great actor. I like...
He's been a lot of shit. Damn.
Yeah, we could do a whole video on his career talking about
Hey
it.
man, I love this movie shit. Like this deep dives is fucking awesome. But yeah, back to Black Christmas.
But yeah, Black Christmas, it's a slasher movie, but it's not like people just getting all fucked up and create a lot of gore. It's just more tension and suspense and building it up, and also just it's one of those movies that's set in a snowy atmosphere, and you feel cold when you're watching it. It has that feeling. The colors, there's dark colors in there, and it really captures that sense of being cold, and also the psychotic shit of that killer. He would call, go, say that shit on the phone. And you know what's funny about it? Like when he would call the police station, it was real. Their reaction, they're like laughing. Hey, look at this fucking idiot. They're like laughing at these days, a regular Hollywood movie would be, oh my God, dun dun.
The killer.
That crazy guy called. They're all fucking
I'd
laughing.
Be like, what
John
the fuck
Saxon's
is this?
Laughing. Yeah, no, that's how real people would act. It's what I liked about it. But I'll go right off the bat. These fucking remakes are fucking dog shit. I mean, that 2006 one, I watched it, and that's a typical example of Hollywood bullshit trying to make something. The original Black Christmas is a very slow-paced, atmospheric movie, and it works. And the ending is very ambiguous because you still don't know who the hell it is, killer. And then on that Hollywood bullshit, they show everything. The guy up the attic killing people. It just ruins the whole mystique. It's just fucking garbage.
In the 1974 version, I love that one scene where he goes up the chick goes up in the attic, and then you have the fucking thing fly and hit her.
Yeah, it's a really good, just a tension-filled movie. You know what's also interesting? The guy that directed that, Bob Clark. Did you know he also directed A Christmas Story?
No shit. Let me see that.
You shot your eye out with your BB gun.
He did do a Christmas Story. What the fuck?
He did that, Black
Porky's.
Christmas, and Porky's also.
And then he goes and does a horror movie.
Hey, but that says a lot about him, though. All
very
three
versatile.
Of those movies, they
great.
capture what he's doing, and I love all three of those movies.
Well, I will say this: wasn't this originally called Silent Night, Evil Night as well?
Yeah.
Or was that on some of the posters? I believe, because I'm looking at that, and there was alternative posters that said Silent Night, Evil Night.
Yeah, it was originally called that, and then you also got Silent Night, Deadly Night, too.
Yeah.
Santa Claus Killer.
Yeah. But,
man.
Again, what this movie encaptured was something that was real and visceral, because you had something perfectly logical, something that could happen. Those are sometimes the scariest things, like just that last house on the left. Crazy people fucking going to kill people. That shit can happen. Crazy, deranged dudes stalking a bunch of sorority chicks during like a blizzard. That fucking can happen. You know, that sense of vulnerability with those, a sorority house, where you get kind of supposed to be women are, supposed to be vulnerable and stuff like that in that setting because you're carefree, you're in college. You don't expect that shit to happen. The cops don't take it serious. And it just,
it's funny.
Yeah. And it just led to that whole thing of like, oh, fuck, now there's people dying.
Great movie. And also that him making those calls and yelling all that shit. Then a couple years later, the New York Ripper, I think Lucio Fulci directed it, and the killer does the same shit on that movie, except he talks in a Donald Duck kind of voice on the phone. If you've seen New York Ripper, it's pretty damn good.
New York Ripper, I have to check that out.
I'm pretty sure it's Lucio Fulci that directed it. But yeah, Black Christmas, 1974. And then they had that other one. There was a third one.
I didn't watch the newest one.
I haven't seen it, and I don't want to. It looks like some bullshit. It has 4 girls sitting on a bench with baseball bats on the movie poster. That right there looks like typical fucking bullshit right there.
I mean, again, this movie was a movie of vulnerability. You didn't have them fighting back or anything. Oh yeah, now I'm looking at it right now. It looks like they fight black. What the fight black? Slay girls. What the hell is this? This looks terrible. Like the poster, it says Slay girls. Yeah. I don't.
That's something I don't want to see. I don't even give a fuck about seeing that shit.
Oh, it says, oh, look, here's the tagline. A group of female students is stalked by a stranger during their Christmas break. That is until the young sorority pledges discover that the killer is part of an underground college conspiracy. That sounds terrible. Anyway, so 1974 version, again, part of what made slashers is what we know today, along with Halloween, built upon it. I think Psycho you can trace back to being the original.
Psycho is such a fucking good movie. Everything from the visual aesthetics, the story, the soundtrack is so iconic. Just a lot of things that happened on there were kind of like firsts in Hollywood back then, and it good. And plus, Norman Bates, Anthony Perkins plays it really well.
Yeah.
Janet Leigh really well. Jamie Lee Curtis's mom.
Dude, that's another thing. You could go into all the Alfred Hitchcock movies because they were just.
Yeah.
That was the horror, right there. Horror mastermind that spans so many fucking movies.
What makes those movies where they're more. I don't want to use the word intellectual. That's probably not the right word, but they were movies. Yeah, there you go. Thought provoking. That's probably better because it's not like nowadays they feel like they can't make things metaphorically. They gotta. It's just like writing a song. If I'm gonna write a song about chopping somebody's head off, I'm just gonna write it where it says it clear because the fucking listener is too stupid to figure it out. That's what they think the viewers are. They think everybody's stupid that's watching it, so they want to make sure it's real fast paced and it's right to the point, and there's no gray areas. You got to just tell them exactly what it is, and that's what's a lot of these movies why they fucking suck.
Yeah, it's too on the nose, too predictable, and there's not enough room for the watcher to leave it up to your interpretation. Like I like it when you see a lot of things in the background and you make your own like head canon and try to think of oh, this is what happens there. It's cool. I like that aspect. I don't need you to tell me every little thing going on in scenes. Sometimes it's better left up to the person consuming that content.
Yeah, just like Black Christmas, it's left open. So is it Cara Delia's character? Is he the killer?
Yeah.
Or who is the fucking nutcase up and hiding out? It's up to you. And I don't know, man. It just, even the way that it ends, it just pans out, has an establishing shot, shows the house. It's quiet. You hear a dog barking. It's echoing, and then it ends. It's just so creepy the way it ends. Just.
Yeah,
I need to go back and watch that movie too. It's been a while since I've watched it.
Hey, it's a good Halloween movie and Christmas movie, right?
Yeah, the best of both worlds. Actually, talking about Halloween Christmas movies, I've talked to Eddie about this before, but that newer movie that came out with the robot Santa Claus, Christmas, what the fuck is it called? It's a newer movie. Christmas Evil or some shit like that. It's the Santa Claus robot and he starts killing. That is a fucking great movie, man. I can't remember. And the director too has made some fucking.
Is it Christmas Bloody Christmas?
Yes, that one. That's what it is.
Is that the one where he's got a flamethrower and shit too? No.
Yeah, I can't remember
which
if there's
one
a flamethrower in there.
The one where he goes to the police station and he starts fucking burning down the police station.
That one. And I love that movie. It is very cheesy, but the colors, the aesthetics, it's such a good movie. The soundtrack is synth-based. It's really good. And I forget the director's name. I should know this because I did a video about him.
I was thinking about a different one.
Joe Grego. Grego, that's his name. Joe Grego.
Joe Begos.
Oh, Bego. There we go.
Begos. Yeah.
Great director. He's done some damn good movies, man.
Okay, yeah. Robotic Santa at a nearby toy store goes haywire. Okay, I'll have to watch this one. I was thinking the other one. Yeah.
You'd think of that. That sounds like cheesy shit, which it is, but it's just the cinematography and the colors. It's just so well shot. It's kind of like a Rob Zombie movie in the fact that you can see stuff in the background of bands and music and stuff. It's cool movie. I'm going to be watching that for Christmas again. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to watch it too. Who plays the Santa? Let's see.
I forget his name.
Santa's Abraham Ben Ruby. I don't know who he is.
I didn't recognize him.
Oh, he was in
but...
ER, the TV show.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
No.
There you go. I know Eddie likes that movie too. We've had conversations about it. It was just really.
This is recent too.
Yeah.
And it's on Shudder. I gotta start, like, you know what? Maybe it might be worth getting Shudder. I need to start looking at some of those movies on there. But I'll definitely check this out.
I know years ago or a few years back, the only reason I got Shudder is because they had Mandy on there.
Mandy's great.
Cosmatos. I got it just to watch that, and then I said, "Fuck it," I just kept it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, Mandy, and then Beyond the Black Rainbow, the movie the director made before that. Great.
I'll have to check that one out. I did like Mandy.
Panos Cosmatos is the director.
Nice. So back to my last movies is The Shining and Doctor Sleep. I mean, what to say about Doctor Sleep? I will say The Shining is an iconic horror movie. You have one of the most iconic scenes in movie history. You know, here's Johnny. Like, everybody knows that. Even if you have never seen The Shining, like, you know that scene with Jack Nicholson busting in with an axe, you know. That movie was a creepy movie. I loved it. It shows that man going down a deep, dark path, losing his mind in this haunted fucking hotel, which just always makes me laugh, because when he's telling, like, when he goes to the hotel and the manager is saying, like, oh, well, there was an incident, you know, last winter and shit like that, I'd be like, well, fuck, I don't want to be here. This place makes you go crazy. Like, just board it up. Why does anybody need to be here?
It is. That movie is just, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. It is so good, and there's just so many just crazy things. And that movie has so many conspiracy theories about it too. I mean, there's documentaries that break down all this shit of people coming up with all kinds of crap about the moon landing and Indians and all kinds of shit. And it's cool because is it really stand for that? I don't know, but you can make a case for all those points. It's pretty interesting. But it's Jack Nicholson's character is just so good. Like the part where he starts falling apart, he's working, and his wife
typing.
Goes, hey, I made you some sandwiches. You want some sandwiches? He goes, you mind leaving me the fuck alone? Such good shit, man. I saw that as a kid too. In the scene where everything's all going, hell's breaking loose, and she goes and that door opens and there's a guy in the bear costume that looks up. And as a kid, I didn't know what the fuck was going on with that shit. You know, in reality, it was some kind of sick, sexy, not sexy, but fuck. You were having some kind of fuck shit going on in there, and yeah, that wasn't sexy. It was sickening.
And then he goes, talking to the bartender all the time. Man,
it's another one of those movies where the setting is just as much of a character as the actual actors. You know, the whole hotel and the music, the overall theme, and then the Diaz Irae, the main song they play at the beginning, so iconic. That man, that
I mean, it was a great how do you say it? Was it fuck, spirits and shit, like horror movie, psychological, not supernatural horror movie. That's fuck. It's scary for that sense, because it's just like you can't. I talked to Eddie about this too, where I like more physical horror, like I like monsters and shit, because it gives you a sense of like I could kill that thing, you know. I always like that. Right. But supernatural shit, you're just fucked. Like, what are you gonna do in that setting? You know,
it's like the unknown, and also, you know, besides Jack Nicholson, I like Scatman Crothers on there when he gets fucking hacked up on there, but his character is cool, and he's talking about telling that kid about you shining. He's talking about it. It's just really cool movie, and that is something that you should not even touch that property. You just leave it alone. Did you ever see the Shining series that Stephen King directed as
No,
himself.
no, I do want to watch that. He did a
Got
lot of mini series.
Yeah, that one, it has Steven Weber playing as the part of Jack Nicholson. It's all right, but that Kubrick, you
Stanley
can't touch that.
Kubrick is a phenomenal director, from Full Metal Jacket to like all the other shit he's done. You can't touch his work. He did a great adaptation of the Stephen King book. Was it a short story or was it a book?
What of The Shining?
Yeah,
Well, it's a book.
it was a book. Okay, yeah. But yeah, I thought it was great. Now, when you go to Doctor Sleep, did you watch Doctor Sleep?
I watched half of it and just turned it off.
Yeah. So I managed to sit through the whole thing very recently. I never wanted to watch it until we started bringing this up, and I watched it about like 2 weeks ago. I was like, all right, let me just fucking watch this. And it, to me, had almost no connection to the movie until they start adding. It was like, oh, it's The Shining, and like it was more like a fucking action movie almost,
Yeah, I
Like-
felt like I was watching some shitty Marvel movie or something like
Yeah,
that.
where it's like they got powers and these people go like capture spirits from children and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
I
that movie, I was watching it and I got halfway through. I said, all right, I can't do anymore.
Well-
Just
I'll finish it for you and I'll spoil it for you. It's they go back to the hotel at the end and it's like the big final confrontation between the weird bitch that's in charge of all the other ghost people.
Oh yeah, I guess I did get. You know what? Maybe I did watch because I do remember that now. Yeah, but I just didn't see the very end of it. So I guess I
Yeah.
watched more than half of it.
Yeah, and then fucking, Ian McGregor's character is supposed to be the fucking kid. He's like, I need to die with this hotel. This hotel needs to burn, and it just burns down the fucking hotel and shit. And then the one little girl, she's like the new Shining Lord or something. I don't fucking
Yeah.
know.
It's a new Jedi Knight.
Yeah, the fucking
Just
new Jedi. or
Another
some
example,
shit.
Hollywood fucking something up.
I
you
mean,
know?
if they were to do a sequel, to me, a proper sequel, you could have still had, Ian McGregor and all that shit, him older, but it's just him still trying to deal with all this shit. I did like it where he's just a mad alcoholic, a druggie, because,
Yeah.
if I saw that shit too as a kid, I'd probably be all fucked up. And then you have Halloran's character, the butler dude, like teaching
Right.
him how to, like, here's how you fight the spirits and shit. That would have been cool, and it would have been cool to say he gets sober and he gets like a family or something, and then one of the spirits like possesses his family or some shit, and he's fighting them again. Something more like sinister and like kind of creepy, rather than
Yeah.
this fucking weird action Marvel movie shit we got.
Yeah, what you just said, that's what I was hoping to see.
Yeah.
Something that kept up that creepiness, but this shit.
Yeah. It would have been
Man,
cool. Yeah, like I said, it would be cool if he had to save like somebody he cared about because the spirits are taking them or some shit, and he's like dealing with all of his shit still. He's like, God damn it! Like, what is this shit? That would have been cool to me. You didn't. I guess my biggest gripe about everything, remakes, horror movies, all of this shit, is when they lean too hard in the nostalgia factor when you don't need to. It's like,
Yeah.
give us something new and iconic to this sequel. You don't need to keep going back to the original shit, for fan service. But look, we went back to the hotel. You didn't need to do any
Yeah.
of that shit. Where it's like, we're going to drive across the country to go to the hotel now. This is where it all began or some shit. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's just a big letdown. And I heard, I haven't seen that new Alien Romulus, but I heard that they've got lots of little clips where they go back to other movies, and like it's just throughout the whole thing. And I don't even know if I even want to see that shit.
Like, I didn't see it in theaters. I'll wait for it because I have a buddy who's like real big into Aliens too, and like he loves the original. He's like, like you, where he breaks down the whole movies, all that shit. And he was just like, it was all right, but like going from him, he's like, yeah, you could just wait for it to come out to watch it. And it was that movie, because I love Aliens. I'll go on that tangent real quick. It was just in a weird time setting between all the other movies. It's supposed to take place between 1 and 2, and it's just kind of funky. But anyway, going back to The Shining, they didn't need Dr. Sleep. That's for damn sure.
No, that was something that shouldn't have even been done. When I first heard they were making it, I was like, you know what? I'm curious. I don't have much expectation, but it underperformed way. I already had no.
The horror aspect of that movie was completely gone.
Yeah,
there was no horror in that movie. And that's what bummed me out. Like I said, they could have gone a whole total different direction with it and brought back that, scary, psychological, supernatural kind of shit. But they didn't. So, and you got that dumb shit. Where, I don't know, man. Anyway, that movie sucks. Can't touch the original Shining.
No. And also, too, talking about nerd shit, there's a big-ass, thick coffee table book about The Shining. It's thick. It's got all kinds of shit. And it's sold out now. It sells for a lot of money now, and I so wish I would have got that. Because look, I can't remember who put it out. I was watching a video about it the other day. It's that thick, full of all kinds of behind-the-scenes shit. And it's a big-ass book. But I didn't get it when it first came out. Now people are selling it for like $500, so I'm not spending that much for it.
Oh, those books are always cool. I like the behind-the-scenes shit, all that stuff. That's like a coffee table book, but one thing that sucks about those is like, all right, so I'm a huge Rush fan, and I got really hammered at their last ever concert. I only got to see them once, and it was their last ever show here in LA, and I bought like the big Rush table book of all their artwork because they got some crazy album art. I fucking looked through that thing like maybe 4 or 5 times, and it was like a $200 fucking art book. And I was wasted. I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. Let me get that,
Yeah, when you start drinking, it makes you think, I want to buy everything.
I am the worst when it comes to merch. They have another tangent, Metal and Beer Fest, great fest, usually good bands put on by Decibel, and they have, like, you buy the beer tasting pass, and I bought that, so you get unlimited fucking, samplers. And that year, I think it was like, anyway, Testament was headlining. That's when they had Tom Warrior from Celtic Frost came, and he did a whole Celtic Frost set, which was fucking awesome. But they gave you a huge mug, like a 24-ounce mug, or no, a 32-ounce mug with Decibel Metal and Beer Fest on there. And, like, I was going to, like, the bar people, and I was like, can you just fill up my mug? Because I was walking around with this fucking mug. They're like, yeah, no problem. And they started, and everybody saw me doing that. Maybe I wasn't the first one, but everybody saw that. They're like, dude, they could just fill up your mug? And they started filling up the mugs at the beer with fucking IPAs, and they had to stop that. Because I went back for like a third one, and they're like, dude, everybody's getting too fucked up drinking these 32-ounce mugs of IPAs. Because it was just fucking a shit show. And I spent $700 on merch. That's all I remember. Because there was a coat check, and it was $5. I was like, $5? You'll hold all my shit? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh. I dumped like a fucking mound of shirts and vinyls on them. Like... Like, I was fucking...
Sounds like you had a good time.
Dude, I remember afterwards, my buddy was like, dude, like, do you need help carrying your shit? I'm like walking out with all this shit, holding this mug, this dripping old beer out of it. But then, yeah, you go upstairs too, and they give you all these tasting cups and all these breweries. There was like 30 breweries there, and I was just drinking. Fuck.
Sounds like a good time there.
Yeah, but anyway, side tangent about merch and fucking drinking. If you got good merch, again, if you got good merch, fucking I'll buy that shit.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah, but fuck, for you guys sold out all your fat fuck shirts, and I couldn't get a fat fuck size. So
yeah, we have a new shirt coming out.
All right, cool.
It's I think it looks pretty good.
Hell yeah!
And also shout out to fucking Lord Humongous too.
Hell yeah! That's another thing. I have their CD too up there.
Yeah, that's good.
Should have pulled that one out too. That's some great fucking apocalyptic thrash fucking shit right there. Hopefully they make it out to the West Coast. The same with you guys.
Yeah.
And let's close it all off with your last movie, Stepfather.
Stepfather. Yes. That's
a sick and twisted movie.
Oh man. I still remember watching that for the first time. I watched it with my dad. The first one, we were laughing through the whole movie because there was like all this unintentional humor. And that Terry O'Quinn who plays on there, he plays it so good. He does that whistling.
Oh, he camped down. He sing that
Yeah.
song. Yeah.
Oh man, and they even have a sequel with him in there as well. And there's a third one too that's fucking trash, but the sequel is I like it just as much as the original. So they had that modern one. What was it? 2009.
Yeah.
Fucking garbage. They don't need that. That original one is so good. Lots of funny stuff on there, man. But I really, the Stepfather Part 2, I really like a lot, though. It has Meg Foster, who she's the unfortunate woman that marries him on there. Remember, she was on Lords of Salem and They Live, John Carpenter. And
Yeah.
she was in Masters of the Universe, too. She plays Evil Lynn on there.
Oh, yeah.
But that and also Caroline Williams, she was in there too. She was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. But great movie, man. It's a lot of funny shit. The stepfather would be pissed off, sawing up boards down in the basement and start beating people with 2x4s. But honestly, I kind of like the second one because the second one's funny as shit. I think it's on the first one, though. Remember, he has that bottle of champagne? Well, it's time to break this bottle open. He broke it across that guy's head. I can't remember if that was part 1 or 2.
He beats the one dude, the doctor, the therapist, with the board, the 2x4,
Yeah.
and then he fucking puts him in a car and shoves him down the cliff on fire or some shit.
Oh man,
But
so fucking funny, man. And too, it's on the second one where he's telling that wife, his new wife, I went to college here and did this, and Caroline Williams, who's her friend, is very skeptical about this guy. She starts doing research on him, and she goes, hey, I found some stuff about him. He didn't even go to that college, and he didn't even. I don't even have any stuff. Have you seen his college picture? He was on the basketball team. Well, he goes, that doesn't even look like him. She goes, and the wife's like, oh, well, people change a lot, over the years. And she goes, well, look, and she shows a picture of the basketball team, and it's all black. It's like shit like that. It's unintentional humor.
Like, yeah, this dude's white as hell.
Yeah, I know. Fucking, yeah, there's no way. It's so fucking funny. But this movie is not played as a comedy. It's played very straightforward. But there's so much funny shit like that in there, man.
Oh, fuck.
The remake is just bullshit.
I don't know. It seems like when they remake... So I watched an abridged version of the first one. I was just like, let me get all the main points, like fucking kill scenes, because those were great. I just think it's funny. I was just like, oh, this family sucks. Later, gonna go on a boat now, throw all my shit in a boat, and now I got a mustache. I got all this shit. I'm out of here. Like, damn, dude. Like, you can just leave her. You don't need to kill them. Like, nobody. Like, if I can't love them, nobody will. Like, fuck. And then it seems like the second one, I love, so that you didn't mention the best part of the second one's name. It's called Stepfather 2 Make Room for Daddy.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like, how is...
It's funny, too. Terry O'Quinn, the guy who plays, he's a pretty respected actor now. I mean, not a leading man, but like a character actor and stuff like that.
It seems like it. And he's like, I'm just watching a clip. He's like fighting her at the wedding or some shit.
Oh, it's funny. On that part, too, he's talking on the phone and she finds out who he is and he just knocks the shit out of her that phone. And, oh, man, it's just crap. A bunch of just unintentional humor that's fucking hilarious on there.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of shit, too. No,
yeah.
I definitely need to watch these. They look fucking great.
Yeah, they are. They're not the sequel, the remake. I watched it, and I don't remember anything about it. It was so unmemorable. I literally don't remember anything about it.
Yeah. The thing is, too, when you remake some of these old campy horror movies, what made them great was the campiness. Because this was a time where people, like, already you had your Nightmare on Elm Street, you had your Friday the 13th. These movies weren't particularly scary anymore. You kind of watch them for the shock factor, like, oh, I just want to see something bloody. They're goofy. You already, like, okay. Again, during this time period, a lot of horror movies weren't fucking necessarily scary. Even people watching them back in the day watched them to laugh and like, oh, look, that dude's getting killed. That shit's funny.
Yeah.
Probably some of the last, like, true super, like, really scary horror movies of that time period going before the 80s was like, The Exorcist. That was genuinely creepy and terrifying. There was no unintentional comedy in that, I mean, maybe when you look back on it, the puking and all that shit, but
that movie still
holds
hits
up
me when I watch it.
Yeah, it's creepy. It's jarring. But a lot of these movies, like, The Stepfather and shit, it's campy. The whole premise is fucking campy. But I guess it was based on a real crime when I was looking into it that wasn't solved prior to this movie coming out. And then they found that dude, like, I forget his name, but yeah, he did that shit. Killed his family and took off and got like a new one or some shit.
It's crazy. Yeah, I knew about. I didn't know they actually caught the guy already, but yeah, what works though. Like these Stepfather movies, there's campy, funny shit in there, but it's not goofy. It's not like the movie's funny with wacky music.
No.
It's still like a straight
serious movie. Yeah, but it's just the campiness that we get from it because it's just kind of wonky and goofy, And then again, I think we talked about it a little bit beforehand. It is weird when they make the chick do like that nude scene at the end, and she's supposed to be fucking 16, where it's like, all right, but the actress was 22. She was 22 at the time.
But just the thought, just the whole moral of it.
I guess they did that to make it more her vulnerable. You're in the shower, you're not expecting it, and then dude fucking goes crazy. He's like, time to kill this family.
Well, it's always the thing in the 80s. More blood. Oh, there's not enough nudity.
Yep.
All right,
we got to balance it out.
Scene.
Yep. Shower scenes. And then, we're going to get killed in the shower or get stabbed, And then the mom, like, fucking shoots him at the end. But, like, you think he died at the end of that one. I guess not.
He keeps coming back, man.
Seems like it. He went to, like, an insane asylum, apparently, when I'm reading the beginning of the second one. That's fucking... Just the title of it, too, again, that's campy, is Make Room for Daddy.
Yeah, man. That's such good shit.
But I haven't watched the remake, so I can't compare it.
Don't even watch it.
But I'll take your word on it. It's shit. So
Don't waste your time.
Yeah. So I guess we could say we had a pretty good juxtaposition of movies here. Some that we agreed on, some that we didn't. Well, I think we were all in agreement.
Actually, I think we were on the same page with all of them.
Yeah. And there was one movie, hopefully we could do it again. I wanted to do The Hills Have Eyes, but I swapped it out because I didn't get a chance to watch Wes Craven's original version, which is really good. So I couldn't really talk to it as much. But to wrap it all up, I guess we could say the Halloween original was good. The remake with Rob Zombie was alright. Guilty pleasure watch. You can't touch the source material on that. Last House on the Left, you can't touch the original. That shit was just completely brutal and incredibly, I guess, I don't know, say unsafe for its time or something. It's scary because it's real shit.
Very dirty movie.
Yeah. Thing did not need that 2011 prequel crap. Shining did not need Dr. Sleep at all. Both Blobs are great. 1958 version and 1988 version. The 58 version was really cool. It had some cool effects in it too. You know, I did like when it shows like he'd get eaten and everything. The homeless dude, it was a farmer. He gets it in his hand and everything, which is actually a quick bit on that. So I love Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I do too.
The fucking great movie, and I love the Dickies. Fucking awesome.
Yeah,
man.
that song.
Yeah, it's fucking great song. So I'm just kind of thinking the beginning of that movie was kind of a play on the Blob because it was the farmer with the dog and the lantern, and then the meteor crashes. He goes and looks at it, and then in the beginning, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, it's like the farmer dude living out there with his dog, and then he goes and finds the circus tent. I don't know. It seemed like they were kind of going for that beginning,
Yeah, it did have that feeling. And Killer Clowns. That's funny how that movie has become a cultural phenomenon. It's every Halloween you see the Spirit Halloween stores have all that shit. It's crazy how that movie has become so huge.
I know, it's a fucking great movie though, because it's campy, it's horror, it's just fucking awesome because it's so ridiculous, But Anyway, so both Blobs are great. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, you like the 56 version and the 1978 version are great. Recommend both of those. And then the 3 versions of I Am Legend, Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price is great. Omega Man I need to check out with Charleston Heston. It's good also. And the I Am Legend 2007 version is shit. Black Christmas 1974 is all you gotta watch. The other 2 are shit.
Very much.
Stepfather, watch the first 2. It seems like in the first one is great as well. Do not watch the 2009 version. So
you can wipe your ass with that one.
Yeah. Again, there were so many movies we could have talked about. I hope we do this again. This was really fun. Please let us know what you think. What are some of your favorite horror movie remakes, sequels and prequels?
Yeah, I'm down. I can sit here and talk about this shit for hours, which we've already done.
I know. But again, Rhevok from Mordant Rhed, thank you so much. Your new full length is coming out later September, and there's a lot of shit going on. So this has been an absolute fucking blast. I hope we could do this again, like I said, and keep it going.
We will. It's my pleasure.
Until next time, everybody, stay tuned for all the cool shit both our channels got going on, and check out, again, all the other channels that we mentioned. Lots of cool people on here. So,
yes.
Till next time, everybody, fuck off and have a good time.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan and eat pussy.
Yeah, there you go.
Later.